LoreWarrior Armour, the Shoden Assault Vehicle. Overview. Following the assault of the Ghost Bear Dominion into the Novacat-controlled Iris Prefecture on the Draconis Combine in 3062 and 63, Khan Santin West realised that his clan must attempt to further adopt some Innisphere-style combat tactics if the Novacats want to survive. This view was further cemented through years of joint war exercises between the Novacats and Combine units, such as the Ryuken Ni, spectacularly being effective in demonstrating to the Novacats how devastating combined arms units can be. Specifically, the Novacats needed a better defensive vehicle than what they currently had at their disposal. Since vehicles are generally looked down upon with disdain amongst the clans, those few fielded by the Novacats were subpar, lacking in many of the latest clan technologies that had been developed, though he knew some of his warriors might be affronted at assigning scarce resources to the construction of a new clan vehicle, especially those warriors in the reconstituted Zeta provisional galaxy. Khan West deemed it necessary, regardless of the turmoil it might cause his clan's Tauman. He immediately authorized the retooling of one of the lines of the newly completed Barcella Beta vehicle plant, and additionally, in a nod to the ever-growing acceptance between the Combine and Novacats, the vehicle was named after the Japanese elephant god of wisdom for the mystical cats. It was a good omen that helped to offset this unprecedented move. Capabilities. The Shoden assault vehicle was designed from the ground up to incorporate the Advanced Tactical Missile System, a new, devastatingly powerful clan offensive weapon developed by Clan Coyote and acquired through dealings with Clan Diamond Shark. Mounting an impressive rack of 3 ATM-9 launchers and a turret, the Shoden can reach out over 800 meters of range with horrific firepower. With over 9 tons of ammo, it can fully utilize the special munitions that make the system so powerful. Almost as an afterthought, several light machine guns are mounted in fixed positions, 2 to the front and 1 in each of the left and right sides for point-blank defense. Deployment. Since Khan West authorized the creation of the vehicle to act as the first line of defense for his Novacats, they've appeared in every provisional galaxy except Zeta. Interestingly enough, Tau Galaxy has specifically incorporated stars of Shodens into its 100th Striker and 274th Battle Clusters, a testament to Tau Galaxy's ongoing training and incorporation of Innisphere tactics. Perhaps predictably, this has put an additional strain between the personnel of Tau and Zeta galaxies, as Khan West has been wise to post these units far from one another. Variants. One variant already under field trials replaces the 2 front-mounted light machine guns and 2 of the advanced tactical systems, along with 6 tons of its ammo, for 4 Streak SRM-6 launchers in the turret, fed by 4 tons of ammunition. Stat-wise then, this is a 70-ton wheeled vehicle with a Fusion 260 power plant. It has a cruise speed of 43 and a flank speed of 65, with its armor being compound beta. Its armament is 3 Type 9 Series 1 advanced tactical missile systems and 4 Series 2C light machine guns. It's manufactured by Barcella Beta, and its communication system is build 1685/5 Tacticom. Targeting and tracking is a Series 28 IWS. So that's, stat-wise, is a 4 and 6 movement profile, which is about right for a 70-ton vehicle. It has 10 heat sinks, that's all it's needed. But its armor is impressive. 55 points of armor on the front, 37 on the sides, 25 on the rear, and 30 on the turret. Thick. Its weapons then are the 3 ATM-9s located in the turret, with 63 shots in total of ammunition located in the body of the vehicle. It has the 2 LMGs at the front, with 1 on the left and 1 on the right, with 200 rounds split between those machine guns. I don't dislike the vehicle. I actually quite like the look of it. Its shape is actually reminiscent of a Swedish vehicle. I forget what it's called now. There's an ATGM carrier that the Swedish military built, and the back end of that looks very similar to this. With that being a tracked vehicle. I forget what it's called now. But it's very reminiscent of that kind of design, and this is how I imagine the Shoden would actually be used. I'd say it's less in the assault role and probably more in a fire support role, because this is the kind of thing that would roll up behind a low hill and would just start launching missiles at targets at obviously extended range to give fire support, or in obviously defensive positions, hold down where it can fire a bunch of its missiles and then it can reposition as needed. Definitely more, I would say, in the fire support role than an assault vehicle. Definitely in that role. Obviously, one of the things I talked about ATMs in one of the earlier LoreWarriors that I did in this batch recording, but the other thing that I forgot to mention with ATMs, and no doubt people probably put in the comments of the previous video, but ATM missile systems also do more damage by default. A single missile from an ATM with its standard munition does 3 per missile. So although the launchers have comparatively fewer missiles, they do overall more damage. But there are different munition types as well. That is one of the other reasons it has more flexibility. So you have an extended range version that only does 1 damage, but obviously allows you to hit from further away. And there's a HE version that I believe does... No, sorry, the standard does 2, and the HE does 3. That's right, now I remember correctly. So, yeah, you're doing 2 damage normally, you're doing 3 damage with your high explosive, you're doing 1 damage with extended range, and it can swap out what launcher is firing what missile type. So in this scenario, you could have each launcher with a different type of munition if you wanted. But obviously, before a battle starts, you have to note down how many of each shot type you have. So you have 63 shots in any battle, for instance, but you have to divide those between what ammo types you've got and obviously keep track of it. Because, yeah, you could load up the thing entirely with HE munitions with the idea you're just going to roll that fucker in and just dump, 3 ATM 9 shots at single targets every single time, and every missile's going to do 3 damage per hit. So if you get a good roll, that's a phenomenal amount of damage to any target quite early on with a vehicle that, as long as you keep it front on, it's got pretty good armor. I mean, 55 points of armor makes it very, very difficult to punch through without a lot of concentrated fire in its position. Obviously, the downside is that it's tank, so any shots go to it, there's always a good chance you are going to get motive checks. And given its speed being quite low, it means that any damaging motive checks is going to make it more and more difficult to get that into position, and that's where you're going to have to start considering if you've taken some mobility damage, you're going to have to switch out to just standard or extra range munitions where you're not going to be doing as much damage, that kind of thing. So there's a bit of flexibility sort of mixed in there. Don't dislike the vehicle though. It's quite cool. I like it. I love the idea of... See, these were the new weapon systems that made sense. They were an interesting sort of quirk to the gameplay that would sort of allow you to have a bit more kind of choice on the field. Because extra munition types had always kind of been around in BattleTech, but they were more kind of optional rule things. And standard gameplay, for instance, you didn't have the option of using things like Inferno SRMs and that kind of thing at the start, that or swarm munitions, that sort of stuff. You just didn't have them. It's like where they had different ballistic options for things like autocannons, where you could have like armor piercing and APHE and stuff like that, but yeah, those are all optional rules, not standard. But the ATMs became a standard munition type, so that was where you had to start sort of thinking about how you were going to use it, what the role of the vehicle was going to be in this scenario, which was quite cool. I like that approach, and it definitely gave players a bit more flexibility. It puts me in mind of, obviously, other war games. You think of things like, obviously, 40k that give you the ability to have different kind of weapon loadouts on vehicles and power armor and stuff where, you can have a vehicle go in and it's equipped with an anti-vehicle weapon system or an anti-infantry system, or it's, kind of a mix of both to give it some flexibility, that kind of thing. So it was nice to see that coming into BattleTech. But I've rambled on enough. I do like it. Shoden's cool. Nice vehicle. But I'll leave you with that. Have a good one all. Thanks for listening. And as always, I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.